Hi, I'm Richard McNeely, Managing Partner at Daines Accountants. We're here today to talk about reducing your tax bill through two methods, through Research and Development Tax Release and Patent Box Tax Release. I'm joined today by Trevor Shaw and Anne Diggins, and before we go any further, I'll ask each of them to introduce themselves.
I'm Anne Diggins, Tax Partner at Daines. I work with a wide range of owner-managed businesses.
I'm Trevor Shaw, Tax Director at Daines. I have a very similar role to Anne. What we do is we help businesses maximise the relief they're entitled to and thereby minimising the amount of tax they pay.
Great stuff. So let's kick off, Anne, with research and development. And perhaps you could outline the key financial benefits of the available reliefs.
The financial implications of research and development tax credits or R&D tax relief for a business do vary depending on the size of the business. For an SME, then for every £1 they spend on R&D activity, they get a tax deduction of £2.30. That can provide significant tax savings. In real terms, what that means is if a business spends £100 on R&D activity, it only costs that business £54. The definition for R&D purposes of an SME is different than a normal SME definition. It's much wider, and so it applies to any business with fewer than 500 employees, turnover of up to €100 million and a balance sheet of less than €86 million. So it can apply to all but the very largest businesses. For a larger company, the R&D tax relief works in a completely different way to an SME, and they get something called an above-the-line credit of 11% that gets added into their profit, but they then get full tax relief for that full amount. For a large company, that means if they spend £100 on R&D, it costs them £71.
Okay, well that sounds good, but it sounds complicated. So Anne, tell me how we might qualify.
The way a business qualifies, the key part of the definition is that a business has to be resolving a scientific or technological uncertainty. For me, the two key words there are resolving an uncertainty. That is something that in your industry is something that's not readily deducible by an expert. For me, clients are experts in their own industries. And therefore, if you're trying to take something in your business to a new level, make it better than the competition, more energy efficient, it can apply to a wide range of issues and technologies, then you can potentially be doing R&D. When people think about R&D activity, they often think of a guy in a white coat in a laboratory, and that can be R&D. But actually, it's so much wider than that. It can apply just as equally to manufacturing businesses, software, IT, engineering. The key is, am I doing something unique or innovative in my industry? And if you are, you potentially might qualify.
So it's not just for high-tech businesses?
Absolutely not.
No. Okay. So tell us what sort of costs qualify then under the R&D reliefs?
Costs that might qualify, you are able to claim for any materials that you use. So if you're making a product or designing a new product, you can claim for the materials that you use, any consumables that are used as part of that. You can also make a claim for power that you might use during the processes, or for any water that's used. But the biggest element of any R&D claim is invariably staff costs. And that is the cost of people's time in undertaking the R&D activity. Now, in a business that has timesheets, that's easy to identify because you can tell what time people have spent on R&D. For businesses where they don't have timesheets, particularly in the first year of a claim, HMRC will actually accept that as long as what you can come up with is a reasonable, realistic estimate, then that would be fine.
Okay, so how do I make a claim?
You make the claim in your normal corporation tax computations. We work with businesses to do more than just put some numbers on a tax return. So we work with our clients to include some paragraphs about the uncertainties that have been resolved, how they've been resolved, the people who've worked in the business on the product or the project, and put that together to help them make the claim along with the numbers.
Okay, so there's a report that sits alongside the numbers as normal.
And is submitted to HMRC in the normal manner. HMRC do then have 12 months to actually amend or revise a claim or challenge it if they saw fit. Often that is not the case, but for a smaller business where they want more certainty around the claim, there is a new process where a business can apply for advance assurance. If it's the first time you're doing R&D, the smallest companies can actually get confirmation in advance from HMRC that the work that they're doing qualifies, and then they have 3 years of no enquiries, no questions.
Okay. Well, it sounds like good progress already, Anne, in terms of mitigating the tax bill. But Trevor, what comes after R&D?
Well, when businesses have undertaken R&D, spend a lot of time and potential money in investing in that research, they often come up with something that's new and unique, and that gives them the opportunity to apply for a patent in relation to that product. Now, having a patent gives you certain advantages. You can use it as a marketing asset because you can include it in your marketing literature. You have IP protection, so you can stop other people copying what you're doing, certainly in the country in which you have the patent. And there is also a relief called Patent Box Relief, and that gives you an effective 10% rate of corporation tax on the profits derived from that patent.
So Trevor, then, how do you qualify for Patent Box?
To qualify for Patent Box, you're required to have a qualifying patent. That means it has to be a patent in a number of qualifying jurisdictions. Now, the UK is one of those, so if you can get a patent under UK law, then you're absolutely fine, you qualify. You then need to have income from that patent, and that income needs to be a sale of a patented product. It could be the sale of a product included a patenting product. It could be a royalty income stream from having licensed out your patents. And it could be, if you've sued somebody for being in breach of your patent, the proceeds you get from that. Alternatively, even if you sell your patent to a third party, that could qualify for Patent Box Relief as well.
So I'm aware, obviously, that Patent Box has been around for a while now, but equally that there's been some recent changes to the rules applying to Patent Box. So perhaps you could just take us through those changes.
Yes, the rules changed in July last year. Now, in essence, before that point, as long as the R&D was undertaken by a company inside the group, then you could qualify. It didn't matter which company had the patent, it didn't matter which company did the R&D, it didn't matter which company was exploiting the patent and earning income from it. From the 1st of July 2016, all those three activities, the research, the ownership of the patent, and the exploitation of the patent, all need to happen inside the same company. And if it doesn't happen inside the same company, then the benefit you're entitled to is reduced or actually eliminated completely.
Okay, thank you. So, Trevor, perhaps you could put some numbers around this for us, please. You know I like numbers. So, yeah, just run us through a typical case, if you could, please.
Well, if we look at a business that's done the R&D to start with, and let's say it spent £100,000 in a year as an SME on doing its R&D, it then earns income from the patent it generates off the back of that R&D, and let's say it earns £200,000 a year for 5 years off of that patent. Now, you'd be looking at total profits of £900,000, and the tax bill on that would be £54,000. So effectively a 6% tax rate, which is very low.
Okay, and so in summary, what should business owners do?
R&D tax relief and Patent Box Relief are government-sponsored tax reliefs to allow businesses undertaking that activity to reduce their tax bills. We come across a number of businesses who are already making claims, and we're able, by talking to them and finding out what activities they're doing and looking at the claims that they've made before, we're often able to actually maximise those claims and claim additional tax relief to reduce their tax bills further. At Daines, we're particularly proud of the fact that we've had 100% agreement from HMRC for all the claims that we've submitted.
Fantastic. Well, Trevor, Anne, thank you very much for your contribution today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.